Jawa, where have you taken me?
We're going back to for starters, really slow loading times.
All right. Well, I've got my Surge soda ready.
Excellent.
I've also gathered all my pogs.
You got your baseball hat backwards.
Hey,
'cause it's
Lamau.
cooler that way.
When Mom make the spaghetti.
So yeah, we're going for the final bonus. I'm going to show you just how much more awkward the controls are for Enclave on console than they are on PC.
I'm glad that we still go back to our old friend of Peyton Manning.
We would never leave angry Peyton Manning behind.
And birds.
And birds. Birds, I mean,
Duh,
it wouldn't be
birds.
Enclave without weird machine birds. So, I thought, because the biggest difference is in the ranged combat, so I'm just going to go show off my old crutch from, like, the first half of the Light campaign. How do you feel about rescuing a druid?
It depends. Are there pants?
There are exactly as many pants this time as there were last time.
Okay. Man, frame rates.
Yeah, it's not as smooth.
No, this version definitely has some frame dropping.
The frames drop a little bit. It loads really slowly.
I just like the comforting glow of the Christmas light book.
You know, Christmas Light Book didn't get a lot of play in the PC version because it was done in like 2 seconds, but you get a lot more time to really appreciate it on console. Also, it's just, I mean, I was running the other one at 1080p, so this is coming to you in glorious 480.
Is that the native resolution on the Xbox?
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
Oh, does this have the Easter egg for the ghosts?
I didn't check out. I'm pretty sure it does. This is me trying to hit the bottom of that. There we go.
You were trying to hit the bottom?
Yep.
Oh boy.
Trying.
I do think that the health bar and stuff is more prominent, so that's
It's more
nice.
prominent because the resolution doesn't scale it up when you scale up to 1080p. So it's just smaller. So the big thing is that when you use any ranged weapon that isn't the longbow, well, I'll save that till we see it. You may have caught a brief glimpse. So we get this reticle. It's terrible. You see that circle?
Yeah.
The longer you keep the reticle inside the circle, the more damage you do.
Oh.
Locational damage is still a thing, and if you can hit the location, it'll do exactly what it should. But the longer you keep the reticle in the circle, the more damage it does, because they realized aiming is kind of ass. Unless you take it really slow and incremental. And even then...
Oh, it's kind of cool that it does kind of ruin the surprise on certain things, though.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to be ambushed in this version because if you have the crossbow or a staff out, you just see everyone coming. This is me remembering which side you had to start this puzzle from. It's also, I mean, I appreciate that they really tried to put things in the beginning, but the interesting puzzle design really falls off as the game goes on.
Yeah, it's I don't know, do you think that's a fault of development time, or I mean, do you think the game designers were just kind of burnt out, or frame rate?
Yeah, it's because we got super exciting powers like the fire arrows.
I'm guessing the original Xbox doesn't necessarily play well with the fire effect.
I mean, the original Xbox can run some very impressive games. It was by far the most powerful console in its generation.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that this game, I mean, probably not the best optimized. And it's also not fair because you're comparing running this game on the original Xbox hardware to running this game on my 970.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. It's not it's not apples to apples.
Right.
It's just hard to go from, everything is smooth and crisp relatively to having some pretty serious frame rate issues with fire effects and whatnot.
Yeah, and I think some of their animations just play at a lower frame rate on the Xbox version. Like, there are less frames of animation in general.
Yeah.
Goodbye, you pantsless wonder. Godspeed.
Pantsless Wonder, also a good forum's name. You're regretting Jawa Knight, aren't you?
I mean,
not regrets.
Jawa Knight is fine. It's definitely very me, but it's not as good as Transient Box or Pantsless Wonder.
But then again, what is?
Very few things. Yeah, so just...
does the wizard get the weird aiming reticle too, or?
Yes, I do believe the staffs get the same aiming reticle as the crossbow. It's only the bow that doesn't, because I guess for balancing issues, if the bow got this, the bow would just be wildly overpowered.
Hard. Yeah. Okay, so...
No, it's not even hard. It's sort of... It makes ranged combat easier as a compensation for the fact that aiming is just worse on a console than it is on a mouse.
Huh. So I've also noticed that the size of the aiming circle seems to fluctuate. Now, I guess it's just from the movement. It's based on distance, or how does that work?
I'm not entirely sure.
Does the actual edge of the reticle stay stationary, and it's just like a graphical thing where it's kind of pulsating, or is it really what you see is 100% what you get?
It's what you see is what you get. The circle will be around the target. It's not relative to your UI.
Okay.
Or to your position.
Now,
yeah, what if
you're looking at somebody that's behind cover, but you are still aiming, like you can see their reticle, but you can't hit them? Would it still charge up?
There's not a lot of cover in this game, so I've never quite had that come up, but I'm assuming it would just get stuck on the cover, because there's a lot of times just in general when arrows and things will get stuck on and hit geometry even though it looks like you have a clean shot.
Did he use the healing pool?
Yes.
Huh.
They do that in this. They will jump into the healing pool if they really need to.
Neat.
If you let them.
That's I'm kind of sad that this is the only time you ever see this.
I also forgot. You may notice something is different, but we're now playing in this special console immersive first-person mode for the rest of the level.
Poor man's Thief.
Really, really poor man's Thief. Oh god, do not compare this to Thief. That's not fair.
Is this better than the fourth?
I never played Thief 4, but I hear it was mixed.
I don't think
so. It's probably on par with this game then.
Oh man, I bet going over this trap in first person is gonna be rough.
All of the jumping is really nerve-wracking in first person. You may have noticed I'm really hesitant to cross the gap. Yeah, it's
Jump the shark,
it's
Joe.
a hoot.
Jump the shark. Do it, Fonzie.
There's just some aiming problems in general.
Huh? It looks like the reticle only increases in damage when you're actually on the model, and not it doesn't actually matter if you're in the circle or not. It's only if you're actually on the character model. Well,
if you're in the circle, the damage goes up, and I've shot.
Really?
Maybe it gets more damage on the model, but I know there's footage earlier on of me just shooting the circle.
Wow.
And them taking damage in the head.
What the heck?
I believe it's hitting the front of her crossbow.
My arm.
Because I'm like, no, it still works. It's just I was literally hitting her in the crossbow, and it doesn't do damage.
That's terrible.
I mean, it's impressively modeled. It's just really
frustrating.
Not a good game design choice.
Well, see, that just makes me want a crossbow that has like a shield on the front of it.
That reminds me of Army of Two, with the guns with the big dumb shields on them.
Army of Two was a great game. I don't care what you say. I will fight you.
I didn't say the game was bad, I just said that the shields were big and dumb.
Yeah,
Also,
but that was kind of the
grenade
point.
arrows, just as good as they have ever been.
I mean, there's really only so much you can... We found the map to the forbidden place. I mean, you can really only go so wrong with strapping a grenade to a stick and firing it with a bow.
Right? It's, I mean, long-range explosives is kind of... I mean, that's what we still use as our best weapons, so...
Just the scale of the explosion has changed somewhat.
And the distance, for sure. Yeah, it's... First person is kind of awful. But you can at least see why those shots miss in first person better than you can in third. And that you just go right over the goblin's head, which is why you gotta crouch to then shoot him in the dick with 9 arrows.
Did he just, like, lose interest? Or what happened there?
I mean, you know, the AI's never been great. They jump off cliffs semi-regularly if they're around.
Maybe he never did cardio, so he was just super winded.
He just got the armor and he's never fought in armor, and it's way more exhausting than he imagined.
That's a rookie mistake. It's a real pedestrian effort.
Yeah. Just gonna trigger this trap early, don't mind me. By the way, coming up is the thing I was dreading about this level in first person, and part of the reason I chose it. Which
The
is
trap?
jumping out of those on the stones balanced on the spikes. Yeah, that is it's really nerve-wracking for me. I don't get vertigo easily, but I do get a little bit of it when jumping over perilous pits in like first-person video games, especially when there's no freaking checkpoints in the game, and it's just like, oh no, please, oh please, oh please.
So it's a
I don't want to have to do this all over again.
It's a semi-roguelike.
Just the worst part of roguelikes. Oh, there it goes. It's funny, I noticed something. One of the mission objectives for this map is Marcus must survive, but I don't think Marcus can even take damage in this mission. Like, they won't attack him no matter how long you take to get out there.
Maybe the game is trying to tell you about Marcus's crippling depression, and he's had some, like, really dark thoughts. Like, he's got seasonal affective disorder or something.
Oh god, hold on. Okay.
I could hear the
You were
clenching.
saying?
I could hear the clenching.
That was my stomach jumping up into my throat and then down into my knees in quick succession.
That was pretty good though. You did admirably.
Thank you. I should hope after having beaten this game a couple times on console and PC that I would be able to get past a rudimentary jumping puzzle on level 3 or 4. Level 4. I keep waiting for them to come across here because I know I'm gonna get ambushed and I'm just not ready for it.
Quickly into the pool. You know, if everybody
That
gets
goblin.
if everybody gets in the pool, then it's just gonna make it dirty.
Yeah, also, if everyone gets in the pool, they're gonna win the damage race, like, for sure. And I keep thinking they're gonna come across, and they just didn't. They were really not obliging me here.
Keep trying to take him
Please
at the
come
hot
closer.
gates.
I want to load up enough arrows to block out the sun. But, oh no, foiled again by the aiming, oh god.
Well, you wanted them to come across the chasm. Here they are.
I don't want them to come across the chasm, I wanted them to go to the other side and stand there patiently while I filled them full of arrows. Help me, grenades!
Grenades, you failed me again.
It's okay, he's got medium armor on, so...
Yeah. He was also apparently carrying around healing juice.
That sweet healing booze.
Makes
There we go, that's what I was hoping you would do.
Oh, look, he made a nice little meat bridge.
Oh, I wish that was a thing.
A meat bridge? Well, if Lady Gaga can make
Just-
a meat dress, I mean...
Right? Might as well top up.
Hold on, my shins were dirty.
Yeah, I never found if there was a control for first person on the PC version, but I don't think there was. Which is good, because it's actively harmful in most situations.
It's Alt F4.
Especially in melee combat, because you may have noticed that your weapons go invisible.
Yeah, that's problematic.
And it's really hard to line up your shield and sword when you can no longer see them at all.
Actually, the fact that you can't go into first person might be a bug. You should probably delete your System 32.
I hear that solves most problems.
It does solve problems for a specific definition of solving.
Ah, suck it. That always feels good. Direct hit with the grenade arrows. There we go. And now you get to see what it would like to play this sensibly, but we're done. So, here's the lesson, kids. 1, don't play in first person. 2, don't play the console version. I mean,
just get it for
it's not
computer.
worth it to go out and get. There are some games that I will say are absolutely worth getting on the Xbox, but get Enclave on your computer.
Like the original Halo. You gotta get the original Halo for console. I mean, come on.
I mean, Halo PC is great because it had multiplayer in which you could use the fuel rod cannon, and there are few things more glorious than that.
Just play Halo 2 then.
Yeah, but I really like Halo 1. I think it's still my favorite.
Why would you use the fuel rod cannon on Halo 1 when you can just use the Magnum?
Because it's more fun.
But everybody in competitive just used the Magnum. Like, that's all it ever
true.
was. Huh.
Okay.
Why did the bird have sparkly eyes for a second?
Because he was really happy for us, I guess.
A preview?
A preview.
Are we playing Pac-Man?
This is the newest iteration of Pac-Man. And by the way, speaking of things I think it's worth getting an Xbox for.
Commence operation, no return.
Remember, Snake, this is a sneaking mission.
Oh no, this is nothing like Metal Gear Solid.
Commence operation, no return immediately.
Metal Gear Semi.
1-2, do you copy?
Semi-solid gear. Made by Project Breakdown. What did they do, I wonder? By the way, if you couldn't see it, that missile says game over.
I really like the picture of the guys operating the mortars. It has Hitler's Easter eggs.
Total memory loss? Hey, wake up. You're our last chance.
No, come on. That's literally the opening to Metal Gear Solid 5.
Soldier.
Tell me if you can...
The Matrix.
What? Yeah, this is only a little influenced by The Matrix. Just a bit.
Open Pandora's box and release only.
Success of this mission is more important than our lives.
That was an MP5.
Wake up!
Nanomachine, son.
Basically, actually.
Now it's
Glowy nanomachines.
Prototype.
Yeah, actually, I like this game better than Prototype.
This can't be real!
The House of the Dead.
Yeah, kind of. So yeah, coming up next. Oh, by the way, remember to drink tiger juice, the ultra drink.
Nozzle.
That's Breakdown. This is one of my favorite games, and it's what we're doing next.
Super excited. Break up. I mean down.
Resident Evil, I mean Breakdown.
The House of the Breakdown.
All right, Dingo. For one last time, take us home.
Electoface.jpg.